And then we add another section. And then we've sort of got a little ejector hill here. And this is a trick that I do with this. Now I can change the length of that ejector hill, but what I want to do is make sure that the segment right after it will be able to clear in a good way. So we'll bring that up to about 2.5, and then we'll add a roll, a positive, let's go 40 degree roll, and then we can add a little bit of time to that, so I put it up to 1.2. Now the ejector hill that I had before will increase that time zone, and that's making it cut a little bit too close, so we may actually have to make it less than 1 second. So there we go. Now it's a 0.8 second ejector hill. And this is what I've always found to be the trickiest part of making Newton coasters, is it's hard to get them to a good stopping point. And so we'll add a new segment, and then we'll stick the roll to 0, which means subtract 40. And then we'll take the G's, the vertical, and we'll put it down to, let's go 0. So we subtract 2.5. And then let's make the time zone down to 0.8. And this could cause high G's, but we're just going to have to risk that this time. And right now you can see we're sort of going to be pointing back onto the track right now. So we're going to do a little bit of a weird move, and we're going to take the lateral settings and we're going to add negative 0.2, and with that we can see it's going to start diverting it away from the roll, and I'm seeing already that it won't quite be enough. So we're going to move back to this segment right here. This is the one that has no changes, and we're going to bring the time of that one down to 0.8. In fact, that's looking so good already that we might just take off. This is another trick, of course. You can adjust certain time zones, especially ones that don't have any changes, and you can adjust them, and as you can see, by changing the time, it changes which way they turn. Now we're sort of 9 is too much, 8 is too little, so we can go in here and edit and tack a 5 on, and wow, that actually looks quite good. So then at the last second, then we'll bring the vertical G's up to 1, and we'll shorten the time segment to 0.7. And then we will save our element. So we click over Save Element, then we got to get a path. So we will navigate to our element folder for the Newton tutorial, and then we'll save this as part 1. And we save there, and then click Save Element. And voila, now we go into our No Limits track, and let's see how well it fits. Control E, part 1, open, and you do not want to touch the percentage for this. It needs to be exactly 100. And click OK, and wow, we've got our coaster. And it looks a little bit scrunched up against the wall, which could be bad. So we'll Control Z that out, and we'll go to top view, and just drag a box around everything, and just hold down on the down arrow for a little bit. Or we can drag it, and we'll put the vertex of the end segment on the launch, and we'll try and get it right about on the origin. And now, when we add on part 1, there should be plenty of room. And look at this. The segment actually ends almost exactly where the station is. That'll be pretty nice for us. It'll make getting back to the station a bit easier. So now we've got our Newton coaster. It's a good thing to ride this in the simulator and just move through it to see if there's any really rough spots. So we've got that part that's smooth, and there's the airtime curve, and here's the overbank curve, and into our 0G roll, and into our corkscrew, and then up, last ejector hill, and curve, and brake run. And for the brake run, we got to go a little bit more advanced into elementary and Newton. So what we'll do is, when we go back into Newton, and then we click on the last segment, and then we look at the pitch, and we see in here that the ending pitch is -7.119. So what we'll do is we'll open up elementary and Control New, or Control N for new, and we'll do straight, and we can just go with 10 meters again, but for the slope, now we input -7.119, and this will be our brake run. So when we save this one, we'll go 10 meter straight at 7.119 degrees down. And then we save that. And then we go back into no limits, and we select our sloped run, and we just hit OK. And that's not quite as long of a brake run as we want, so let's tack on a little bit more. We'll move it up to 150. And that brings us a pretty good way down, but we need a little more still, so guess and test. 175 should do it. There. That's pretty good, and then we can put in a slope that we can use to reconnect. And we'll set this to brake run. So, let us go into the simulator and test. Save it as Newton Tutorial Part 2.